You're tuned into BuildHer Media. We are all about economic empowerment, bringing you interviews from amazing women of color worldwide who defied the odds, beat statistics, and became successful founders, creators, and entrepreneurs. Be sure to follow us, subscribe, and hit the like button on all our social media. Go to buildher.co.uk, the ultimate online space for girls and women of Black origin. We are sisters moving forward.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's such an honor, and I'm so excited to speak to you about Boho Locs. I mean, if you don't know about Boho Locs, like, where have you been hiding? Where have you been sleeping? Obviously under a rock somewhere. Like, this is the brains and beauty behind the brand that is Boho Locs, and I just want to find out about, you know, the journey behind starting a successful business, growing an empire, and particularly as a Black female in this modern society, and starting something successful for yourself. So first of all, congratulations on the growing empire that is Boho Locs.
Thank you so much.
And so for those who may not have heard yet, I mean, obviously they've been sleeping, but those who may not know what Boho Locs is, just please tell us, what is it?
So Boho Locs, we specialize in the most natural looking crochet lock extensions. We have like a really wide range of colors, from blondes, purple, red, gray, black. We have 3 styles in our collection. Actually, we have 4 styles in our collection. We hope to expand on those. We ship our products worldwide. We have warehousing in America. We're also hoping to open up the UK and Europe later this year. And we just stand for Black female empowerment. I think we firmly believe as a brand that brands that sell to Black women should be owned by Black women. And so because we feel like we know what we want more in terms of what we want from our extensions, etc. So that is Boho Locs in a nutshell.
Amazing. And I love that. Brands that cater to Black women should be owned by Black women. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
And doesn't it make you think, how was it done beforehand, and how, you know, why was it done any other way?
I think there's been a monopoly in the marketplace by a lot of Korean-owned brands. I've been doing a little bit of research into it to find more of the origins, and I've been reading some quite interesting books and having some interesting calls. But it has to do with some sort of trade agreements from historical, I believe, which sort of established, especially in the American market, the Koreans as the dominant sellers for synthetic hair products, which obviously are mostly purchased by us. So it's a long-standing history, but it's ripe for change now. The world is really opened up from when these sort of these things were put into place. I think the world is just a different place now. It's not hard for you to find your own manufacturing and build your own brand. But I think when the laws were, when this was kind of set up, it was more difficult. But I think it's just a historical thing. But I think it's something that can change.
Absolutely. I think it's already changing thanks to women like yourself and other women creating things for us and by us. And what was the inspiration behind Boho Locs? Were you just like, are you Caribbean by any chance, or?
Yeah, I am. My family are from Trinidad.
Okay.
And I think that it's probably a long-standing thing, because I've had businesses prior to Boho Locs, and I think I've always been an entrepreneur in my heart. My dad's an entrepreneur, and I'm very much like him, unfortunately, fortunately, of course. And you know, he got me into sort of like lots of entrepreneurial books when I was quite young. And then the catalyst or inspiration, I think, behind this was I actually used to do the individual locks at home. So people would come to my house and I would do the locks, but it used to take quite a long time. So maybe I don't know, 6 to 8 hours per customer, but I had a very unique style and way of doing it. And I thought if I could encapsulate that into a product, then people all over the world would want it, because people all over the world, people would ask me if I could fly out to do their hair here, there and everywhere. Wasn't possible. But I knew that if I developed a derivative, let's say, off of the style that I was already doing, that I knew that it could do well as an e-commerce brand.
Amazing. And you've touched on it already a little bit, but why was this so necessary for you to create this brand?
Well, it was necessary for a number of reasons. I think one, to serve the most people that I could, because people loved when I used to do the individuals. They loved the look, they loved the feel. I had loads of repeat customers. It got to a point where I couldn't accept any new customers because, yeah, it was because my existing customers were coming back, and then I remember I did like a promo with a influencer. And I think I was booked out for 3 months in advance, and I was ecstatic about that. And it just made me think, well, I'm at capacity now. What's the next thing I can do to serve as many people as possible? And then I think another driving force was so I reached a bit of a frustration when I was doing the hair because it was taking so long, and I wanted to serve more people because I had this demand. So I wanted to do crochet locks. So I went down to my local beauty supply store to see what they had, and the brands were
disappointing.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, that was what inspired it. I was just underwhelmed. I was like, oh, that's too shiny. Oh,
yeah,
that's too springy. That doesn't look right. Doesn't look right. It's like, okay, well then I suppose at that point I could have then been like, oh, there's nothing. Let me just go back to doing the individuals. There's nothing out there. But I don't have that mindset. I was like, do you know what? I can create it. I can create a crochet that I want to use on my customers, and that's really the genesis of it.
Amazing. I love that drive that you had. And who is Boho Locs primarily for?
It's primarily for obviously Black women the world over. At the moment, we're not serving the world as we want to because our warehousing is just in the States at the moment. But we plan to serve, Black women all over the world who come from like various different backgrounds, but with the view of like empowering. So we want to, through our brand, through our creatives, through our message, we want people to feel more confident when they wear our products, but not only just feel it, just know that they're part of a movement, basically, which kind of represents the upward trajectory, I would say, of Black women, and also our ability to own businesses, to grow unicorn businesses, and our ability to really come together and edify and raise ourselves up.
I love that. And so what in your journey so far, when did Boho Locs actually begin?
Okay, so I suppose there's two versions of it, if you will. I think there's a version when I was working from home doing the individuals. That would have been 2016. And then there's a version when we were selling online and we developed the e-commerce website. And I think that's been 2 years now. So
okay.
2017.
Okay, 2016, 2017.
Yeah,
so in your journey up to now, up to 2020, what has been the most difficult experience or the most difficult thing that you've learned about being in business so far?
The most difficult thing I've learned, so there's that transition that you have to go through being like the enthusiastic sort of like leader of the pack, as it were, to being the CEO and being somebody who's like, do you know what? I do not want to be the smartest person in the room. If I am, that's bad on me. That's like maybe my ego is taking over. I need smarter people around me. So I think that might be for some, like that shift might be a little bit challenging because I suppose it forces you maybe to face some of your own insecurities and maybe handing off that, oh, actually, I don't know what's best in this situation. So I think it's been, that has been a learning curve, but it's going really well. I've been recruiting. I'm going to be doing some more recruiting once we sort of, I was going to wait until we completely got out of the Corona situation, but I think I might have to start looking to build the team as well next month with more people.
Okay.
So I think it was almost like you have to accept that you can't do everything, because when I first started Boho Locs, I did everything. And when I say everything, I mean I edited all the
Lulu, can I just stop you there and ask you to repeat that word? You can't do everything. Just repeat that.
Which one, sorry?
That you can't do everything yourself.
Oh gosh, no. You'll go mad. I never did.
Yeah, honestly, because it's a common mistake, or maybe it's a phase that every new founder goes through. As you said, you're the enthusiastic leader. You wanna try and do everything yourself.
Yeah.
But you have to realize, at some point that you can't. You need smarter people, just as you've said. You need smarter people in your team than you, and you need to learn how to delegate. Would you agree?
Yes, 100%. Yeah. Being a good delegator. I mean, I always say to my team that my job as a CEO at this point, I know my strengths, and that's product design. That is my thing. That is what I'm very passionate about, creating beautiful products for beautiful Black women, for us. I just love it. That's what I live for.
Yeah. Love that.
But my strength is not in other areas. So my job as a CEO is to focus on what I'm strongest at, and I know that I'm the strongest at product development, and hiring other people smarter than I to lead up the other departments. That is the role of a CEO ultimately, in my view.
Yeah, totally agree. And in terms of, starting your own business and brand, what's the best thing about starting something for yourself?
The best thing about starting something for yourself, I suppose it's an expression, and okay, I don't want to get philosophical, but it kind of it feels like
please get philosophical if you need to.
Okay, fine. It aligns very much with what you believe your purpose is. I'm a very creative person. That is ultimately who I am. I grew up, I was into music. I wish I could have drawn, but I'm not good at art. But I was always into songwriting, piano playing, cello playing, and
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm very creative. I'm a creative. I am a creative. So for me, the most fun thing is business is a creation. Every day it's like a moving organism. It's not just one thing where you set it up and you plug it in and forget it. Every day there's a change. So it's good if you're that type of person where you like change and you can manage change and you're comfortable with change. It's a phenomenal thing. I also think the advantages are, obviously there's financial advantages, of being able to command your own destiny, as it were, and in that sense as well. Own your time, be an example to I have a daughter, so I hope to be an example to her. Also other women, so there's loads of benefits. But I think one of the things that I feel passionately about and is strong, I do have predominantly a Black female team, and
I love that. That.
It is nice for us to go on this journey and upskill and learn new things as well together.
Yeah. And why do you think that, it's definitely happening more and more in the past couple of years especially, but why do you think kind of historically Black women have struggled to maybe start that project or that idea or that business? What do you think some of the, or maybe the main issue that we were having in the past is?
I don't know. My view, I think, is I really think it's more of a mental block. There isn't anything to say that we can't, but I think that historically, I suppose, when you look and you think of successful businesses, you don't necessarily see so many sort of Black women at the helm of it. So maybe you maybe there's even subconscious, maybe a level of doubt, a level of I can't do it, so you don't put yourself in that position. Maybe one thing my dad did do when I was really young, because I said I wanted to be successful, he tuned me into Madam C.J. Walker's story from when I was very young, and he bought me all these books on Black wealth. So I think it switched my mindset from a very young age, and I think I personally do think it's I don't think there's anything in society that can stop you. I really don't believe that. I believe that there is a lot of information out there you can get, but I think it has to do with the belief. And if that belief can then motivate you to take the action that you need to take.
So you think it's a bit of you can't be what you don't see in a way
You
for
can't,
some of the women.
yeah, you can't be what you don't see, or you can't be what you don't think. I'm a Christian. The Bible says, like, as a man thinketh that he is. So it's like, if you don't think that you can own that space and be that trailblazer, be that entrepreneur, have that success, then I think that's a block. I think that's a barrier.
I totally agree with that and totally get that. And shout out to your dad for like showing you Madam CJ Walker's story and everything at a young age. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, go on.
No, I was just gonna do a bad impression of him, but he was like,
"Oh, you have to."
You should read. He's a bit cockney. He's like, "You should read up. About her. Read up on her." And he brought me. Yeah, and I've got like Madam CJ Walker posters upstairs. They've transferred to my office now, actually. Yeah, they're both from my office now. But he bought them for me, and just to show me, I think, in his way that it's totally possible.
Anything is possible. I love that, and I really hope that more fathers of black and brown little girls do what your dad did for you, essentially. I think that would be amazing for the next generation, especially.
Yeah.
And what do you say to those who say, I guess the naysayers who may feel that something that is exclusive for a particular group of people? So for example, Boho Locs is for any woman, but primarily the target is black and brown women. So what do you say to those who say exclusivity is negative?
I would say that's probably a little bit of rubbish. The reason I would say that is because the Asian companies who sell to black women. There's a huge market for selling to black women, and I don't think there is harm in having a niche where you're strong, where you're confident, where you can serve people to the highest standard. I don't think there's anything wrong with niching and doing that. And in fact, a niche is a fantastic way to gain traction in the marketplace rather than trying to sell everything to everybody. I think that exclusivity is good because maybe you can only serve one type of person very well, at least at first,
I love that. We BuildHer recently was featured in the Metro, and BuildHer is a platform that is in a way exclusive for black and brown women. And there was so many comments underneath, most of them positive, thankfully, but there were some naysayers or some haters, as I like to say, and they were like, oh well, why do you need your own exclusive platform for black women, this and that? And I was like, you just have to get it. You don't get it. Exclusivity is necessary in some cases, especially for us.
Exactly, I believe so, because I think some of the mental blocks that I was telling you about that I think exist, some of them only black women understand what these mental challenges or blocks or oppressions or challenges could be. So it makes sense to have a group like BuildHer that focuses on black women, is run by black women, because you understand more than needs. And I kind of take that ethos into Boho Locs as well.
I love that. So yeah, shout out to all the haters. They say, if you don't have haters, you're not doing something right.
That's true.
And what is the future plans for Boho Locs? The ones that you can tell us. Any exclusives?
Well, I guess we want to continue to grow our product line, I think. So as I said to you earlier, I absolutely love product development. That's my number one happy place, when I'm just designing products, developing, getting samples, mixing this, trying that, trying to develop this color and thing. Because everything, the reason why our locks look the way they do and other locks don't look like this is because they're custom made, they're custom designed by me, and we trademarked our design and everything like that. So more products. Obviously there's a little bit of a slowdown with everything that's going on in terms of the coronavirus globally, but we hope to be able to bring more products. That's probably all I can say, but we also do have we're in a brand development phase. So we hope to have like a new website, sort of like refine our messaging and our vibe and what we're about, and just basically elevate to the next level.
I love that. And you touched on trademarking. Do you think it's important for, creators of anything to really consider the legal, copyright aspects of whatever they've created? I know this is something that especially does burn Black women because we tend to leave ourselves unprotected. And there's been loads of stories out there. You see it on Black Twitter or whatever. Another idea has been stolen from usually a Black female, So I think you've touched on the importance of trademarking or copywriting or patenting.
Yeah. Obviously, different laws for different countries, and if you're operating internationally, you have to look at different things. But I think if you're just trying to get okay, that's probably a horrible idea. But no, let me stop that train of thought. It is very important to do, and it's actually not difficult to do. It is in the initial phases. As you probably maybe need to make more trademarks, more copyrights, more design copyrights, whatnot, it might be beneficial to get a lawyer to do it. But it's really easy. I did all of my first trademarks myself, just UK trademark office, then I did the USA trademark office, then I did other territories. But it's probably easier ways. But it's not hard, and I think it is good. But I don't like the idea of getting so bogged down with trademarking and stuff that you don't actually get your protection, but don't delay. Don't offset it. Just do it, get it done. It's done. Once you've sent off the application, it's dated from the date they receive it. It's done. Carry on with the vision. Carry on with what you're doing, and maybe next time get a lawyer to do it for you if it's possible.
Absolutely. Did you know even just mailing something to yourself, so typing out your idea and just sending it as a mail to yourself, stamped and dated, is like the cheapest and effective way to copyright something as well?
Yeah, I did know that. Yeah.
I love that. And why do you think a platform like BuildHer, which is to a space, a crowdfunding platform for women of Black origin to be able to fundraise for their ideas, their projects, their businesses, or whatever it is that they want to make happen? Why do you think BuildHer is necessary?
I definitely do. There is a funding gap. Okay, you can read about it between minority businesses and other races, especially minority female owned, I believe.
Definitely.
No, but there is, and that is an issue. When it comes to the issue of fundraising, I have maybe a slightly different view, and I'll share my view. But I do think platforms of BuildHer are important, and I will come to that. But I think the most important thing that any entrepreneur can do before you even think about funding is understand how to make a business profitable. If you can't do that,
absolutely,
you're going to get kicked out at some stage because you don't have the bare bones of what it needs. Now, there are a lot of businesses I know who fundraise and who are not profitable because they have to go out of a phase of profitability in order to get the growth, and then they hope to go back to a phase of profitability. I understand that, but I just think step one is to prove to yourself that you know that you made this business profitable, and you sustained profit, you grew profit year on year, because that will put you in a much stronger position when you do fundraise, because you'll have a profitable business behind you. But also for yourself, it will give you the confidence to know, I know how to make something profitable, rather than, this is just me, this is the advice I would give my daughter if I was going to give her advice. It would be just understand profitability. If you're going to fundraise, do that, great, but just bare bones profitability, you just need to understand, get your head around that first.
Yeah, totally.
But once you have done that, then a crowdfunding platform is a phenomenal way to raise funds for your business, because first of all, you're engaging with people who could ultimately become advocates for your business. If they've crowdfunded for you, they know you, they're aware of you, and they're going to spread the word, as it were, about your business. I found that one of the strongest channels of growth for Boho Locs is word of mouth.
Yeah.
So channels like so programs like yours are phenomenal, because it creates word of mouth and also access to capital, because you obviously will need capital to grow ultimately if you want to, depending on what your ambitions are.
Amazing. And just to go back to near the beginning of Boho Locs, when you kind of maybe initially just launched, what was your main marketing strategy at that time?
Sure. Well, I have something very interesting to say. When I started Boho Locs, I was completely broke. I had not a penny. I can't even tell you, less than a penny. I started it with no money. This is what people are always like, no, you didn't. I'm like, mate, I'll tell you, I started the business with no money. I'm telling you, I started with no money. So what we initially used to do was, I love that. I love that. Now, but it was I then.
Yeah.
What I used to do was pre-sell the product. So what I would do, I'd create some fun content, maybe some in-store content, maybe some posing content, maybe doing the hair and stuff like that. And I would put that out on social, and from that I would generate email subscribers. I think something really important to point out is that social media converts at a very low rate compared to email. So in terms of the value per person on your social versus per person on your email list, email wins all day, every day, all the time. So I think it was really important for me, and I understood very early that I needed to have a very engaged email list. So I used to use social to drive leads to email, and then I would sell through email, pre-sell my product to people, and then pre-sell, get the money. I didn't have any money, and get the money, buy the product, customize the product with my family, send it out. So that's how it got started. I think that was part of your question. Yeah. What was the other part? Sorry.
You've answered it. What was your main marketing strategy?
Yeah, that's it then. Yeah,
that's amazing. So kind of pre-selling and an email list.
Email list and pre-sales, that was it. Yeah.
But would you say that social media is important for a new project?
Yes and no. Yes and no. It's not going to drive your revenue ultimately. So yes and no. Yes and no. Okay, I'll tell me my yeses and my nos. Yes, because I'll tell you my no's first. Okay. No, because organic reach on social is in decline. If we're talking organic, are we talking organic social?
Yeah.
Okay, so organic. Okay, so I think the thing that I have in my mindset is that you understand that obviously Instagram is a business, Facebook is a business, Twitter is a business, all these platforms are businesses. And ultimately, I think that you can know the road for Instagram by looking at Facebook because they own Instagram. And the reach just gets dramatically contracted. And this will just happen year after year. You hear people saying, oh man, Instagram is blocking, my reach is going down. Please like this post, please like this post. But I think that clinging on to social media is a way to drive your business. I think that businesses who do that won't survive, if I'm very honest with you. I think social media is important because it's a way that you can put your brand identity out there. You can say what you stand for, you can get shares, you can get reach. But ultimately, I think that the key is going to be in paid social as over organic, because paid, you can reach your target market however many times a week if you want to, and just get your brand out there. Having said that, I do think it's important to have social media. Obviously, I have social media and I got started on social media and I still use it. But I think there comes a tipping point in your business where you'll grow through social media, and then there comes a point where you'll experience exponential growth when you invest into digital marketing funnels and things like that.
And what is your top pick for ads? YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook? Facebook. Why?
Okay, I haven't done YouTube, so that's why.
Yeah.
Facebook and Instagram are kind of lean as one, obviously, because you set them up in the same ad manager platform. But I think in terms of our conversion rate, Facebook delivers the best result for us. And I like it because you're able to get very granular with the people that you want to introduce to your brand, and you're able to define who these people are on one hand, but then on the other hand, if you just want to do a massive reach campaign and reach, you know, millions of Black women at the same time, you can do that. I think it just allows you a lot of flexibility with your marketing efforts.
And for those who don't know, I'm really picking into you now, Lulu.
I love it.
Because, you know, I really want us to help as many women as possible who are watching this. And so they may be thinking, okay, I didn't know that I could reach specifically, say, Black women if I wanted to using, you know, Facebook ads. So is that possible to be that specific?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Facebook is phenomenal. Okay. For running adverts, because you can. Okay, I'll just tell you what I did actually when I first started Boho Locs. Was I obviously grew an email list, as we know, and it grew over time as I did more launches, more pre-launches, more people were joining my email list. This is fantastic. So I have an email list of people. What you can actually do, and one of the things you can do in Facebook, this is just one technique, you can take your, you can create a lookalike audience based off of people who are on your email list, people who have visited your website, people who have visited your social channels. You can then break it down by, well, how long have they looked at your content? Did they look for 3 seconds? Did they look for 10 seconds? Did they look for over 60? And you can start to segment. I think segmenting is quite important. So sorry, I've gone too far. But yes, no, it's totally possible to segment, to target your customers. So say you have an apparel brand, for example.
Yeah.
You know your target market is generally like women who are 25 to 30, who generally work in ABC professions, generally earn, this is their bracket, these are the kind of cities that they live in. You can put that information into Facebook and target those people with just information, just bringing awareness of who your company is to them. And then once you've built the awareness, then you're gonna build out like what's called like a sales funnel. So you just want to hit them with awareness, then you maybe want to give them something more relevant, and then maybe you want to hit them with your offer, like what it is that you have to buy. I think that it's a mistake to go straight from cold traffic to giving them an offer because they're not familiar enough with your brand. And I suppose that's one of the issues I have with social media, is that it is good for that initial low-hanging fruit. It's phenomenal for that. But when you want more fruit, you need to branch out.
I love that advice. That is fantastic. And I'm sure you've definitely helped somebody with that. And in terms of the current unfortunate situation with coronavirus and COVID-19, have you, at Boho Locs, have you been affected by this, either way, or?
Yeah, I think that, we have been affected, and it's in the area of our supply chain. So obviously there's like a massive backlog with shipping out stock and these kinds of things. So I think that what we did to kind of mitigate against that was we changed some of our marketing calendar. I think we'd wanted to do maybe a promotion we'd wanted to do a promotion in some lines. We've kind of held back on some of the promotions that we want to do because we don't want to sell the stock too fast because we don't want there to be like a long out of stock gap between now and when our shipment comes.
Yeah.
So in that sense, we've obviously switched to remote working. So we're Skyping. Oh no, we're not Skyping. We're Zooming. We're Zooming all day. We're on Slack all day. In terms of actual sales, we've seen actual growth. We're in like quite a fast growth period as a business, and it's great because we sell a product that you don't have to go to the beauty supply store to get it. You don't have to risk going out. You can get it delivered to your home, and we also provide tutorial instructions that show people how to do it in the comfort of their own homes. So I think the tutorial aspect is a real benefit to have with our whole brand package, because it shows people, oh, okay, I can still look good. I can still get my hair done. It's all good. I've got tutorials and that kind of thing.
Yeah, you see it online, especially maybe on like TikTok or Instagram. Women are getting dressed up, doing their hair and makeup just to go downstairs to the living room.
I know.
I love that. So just because, we're at home right now, that doesn't mean we can't still slay and look great.
Of course.
I love that. And I think this period as well is really going to be a test, and it's really going to teach a lot of potential business owners and project creators that you have to be able to, as a leader, you have to be able to prepare for the unexpected and bounce back in almost any situation. And this is really important.
It's crucially important. I think this is why I was obsessing so much over profits in the beginning. I was like, you gotta have profit, but you really do, because it's times like this that you're just like, okay, we're good. We're good. We don't have to worry about anything. We've got enough to be able to, worst case scenario. So that's my focus is always about profitability, because if you can retain your profits, if you can save them in the business as cash flow, then you've got, I don't know, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16, 18 months of run rate in your business before you have to like say goodbye or have to drastically change things,
Yeah, totally. And did you bootstrap Boho Locs initially, or did you have an investor? I know you started it initially bootstrapping. At some point, did an investor come on, or is it still?
No, I've not taken any external funding for Boho Locs. And I will when I have a project that I want to execute, but this will be the $100 million project that I'm just like, this is it. We're still kind of modeling out what that is going to be. But at the moment, the business is profitable. In fact, when we first launched, we went from like 0 to like $1 million in sales in like 10 months or something like that. And it's been
amazing.
And it's been growing 100% year on year since then. So in terms of financial, I want to fully understand finances, financial modeling, and obviously profit is my obsession. But obviously, as you take on funding, other aspects of finance are going to come into play, because profitability may be gone away at that time. So for me, it's all what it's about is just building as much knowledge. I think you need the knowledge, because once you start getting involved with investors, say you were to go to like a massive hedge fund down the line, I think that I'm not saying that I would, I'm just saying in general, I think that it's really important that you have a good grasp on your business and know that, I did this, I built, so people can respect you when you bring your idea to the table and don't think, oh, she's just the face of the brand, oh, maybe one day we can oust her. Nah, that's not gonna happen.
I love that. And you touched on something really important there. You've made $1 million or £1 million in sales. That doesn't mean that you are all of a sudden a millionaire. That's in sales and profit. No. We really need to distinguish that for some people.
Nice. That would be amazing. I think you highlight the $1 million because it's such a good validation of your idea.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
But it's important to reinvest.
Oh yeah, I mean, you don't really withdraw profits. I mean, when I say that, I mean, I'm just saying that because that was what gave me a lot of confidence in the decisions that I was making and to think bigger, because that was year one. That gave me a lot of confidence. But I think you just reinvest your money, even if you don't have the project to execute on. You just keep the money there and you iterate and develop and grow, and then as you learn more, as you build, I think data is a key. So we pour through data on Boho Locs maybe once a week, looking at buying trends, looking at buyers, looking at cities, looking at states, looking at countries, looking at opportunities, and then from that we can invest the money that we've had sitting there into funding these projects. And then when there comes, as I say, the $100 million idea that maybe I need external funding for, that's when I would take external funding.
Amazing. Lulu, you've been such an amazing guest, and it's been so fun talking to you, and really insightful advice. And I'm hoping that more women will, see what an example you are, a great example. I mean, from 0 to 1 million in less than a year, like don't sleep on that. That is no joke. That is no joke. And it's not easy. It's not easy to achieve something like that. Especially as a bootstrap startup, essentially.
I think can I just offer maybe like a few bits of advice? Absolutely. So this was to my daughter, let's say. Like, I very much want her to be an entrepreneur also, but we can tell.
No,
the thing is, she does want to start her own business, and she's got all these little ideas. Like, Mummy, what do you think about this? I could do this, I could do that. So at some stage, we will execute on one of her ideas, just so she can learn. And maybe in a couple of years, though. She's only 7.
That's it. You know what? No. There are child entrepreneurs, and that is not.
She will be a child entrepreneur. Yeah, she will. But maybe not. Maybe when she's about 9, we'll probably start something.
That's still good. Yeah.
She's still young. Yeah, but she'll understand. But I think that the top 3 things I would say is that, okay, I'm going to speak from the heart. The top things I would say, first of all, okay, this is maybe an unpopular thing that I'm about to say, but success is an absolute decision. It's not subject to chance. I don't think it's not subject to where you're born or what family you're born into. Okay, I think that a lot of times we're sort of like maybe indoctrinated to believe that success is somehow about if you're born with this, you're born with that. No, I think that success is an absolute decision. And once you make that decision that you're going to be successful, I think at that time you need to eliminate distractions. So for me, when I was starting Boho Locs, that means I just stopped watching TV. I just completely stopped watching it because it was taking up too much of my time, and it wasn't edifying me to where I knew I needed to be and needed to go. So I just started to get information. So then I started to do loads of webinars, loads of courses, read loads of books, speak to people, with the view that in the first year that I launched this business, I'm going to sell 1 million in year 1. I knew that it wasn't something that happened and I was surprised. I knew that. I told my dad, I was like, it's going to happen, kind of thing. So I think that success is a choice. So I think that you need to make that decision and commit to that decision. And then once you commit to that decision, you need to look at your life and just think, well, what is serving that decision? What isn't? I'm not saying you turn into some sort of robot who only does work, because I have an active social life. I go out, I party, I have fun. But I think that there is, for me, TV was just taking up too much time. So I had to just kick that aside. And then really just try and invest in knowledge, in marketing techniques. I think you really only need to know maybe 2 or 3 marketing techniques when you get started. You don't need to learn a plethora of things or get onto a plethora of platforms kind of thing. And in terms of like when you're thinking about pricing, here we go back to my favorite word, pricing for profit is just really important. You have to take yourself out of the mindset of what it is that you think you can afford or what it is that you think you can charge. You need to look at it as, if I'm going to charge this much for my product, how can I ensure that the quality of the product justifies that? How can I ensure that the quality of the service justifies that, and the whole experience and the aftercare of the customers, and you can justify that. So and then you just go hard. Something works, you do it again. Something works, you do it again. But you always stay in touch with your customers. So year 1, I spoke to my customers maybe, 3 times. Year 2, I spoke to them 2 times. This year, I've spoke to them 1 time. And when I say customers, I mean my VIPs. So I'll get on a call with them and just, how are you finding it? Is there any drop off? Are you still liking it? What would you like to see? Any new products? Like, how do you think about the communication? What do you want to see from the brand? And just stay in touch with them as well.
Oh wow, that's amazing. So people can, how does somebody become a VIP then?
Well, a VIP is just, it's based on their, it's a behavior triggered segment. So it's about, how many times people have shopped with us, how engaged they are with us in terms of our content. Mm-hmm. And some of these customers, when I say VIP, I know them because when I used to do all of the customer service, it's still, those people are still our VIPs today. So it's about people who maybe have X amount of sets of Boho Locs, XYZ, you know.
Amazing. And you've developed a tribe, and I think a loyal following and a tribe is so key for a brand, for any brand, whatever it is, a product or a service. Developing that tribe can really, you know, be the difference between continuous growth, repeat sales, you know, whatever it is. Do you agree?
Yes, I do, to an extent. I would firmly back that. The only caveat to it is that a lot of times, especially with social media and like your reach decreasing, I think the thing that I'm probably obsessed with is you need to own your tribe. So if your tribe is just solely based on Instagram, I think it's good, but it's not the best it could be, because if Instagram suddenly decide that they're going to limit all posts, then your tribe aren't going to see you. So I think it is great to have a following, but I think you need to also own them and get them onto your own get them into your email list, get them onto your, I would maybe Messenger, but maybe not, because that could also be restricted. Get them onto your email list, your text list, SMS, these kinds of things, I think are crucially important as well when building.
Absolutely, owning them is the key. And finally, where can people go to, those who may not have heard of Boho Locs yet, where can people go to find it?
Yeah, sure. So our website is boholocs.com, which is spelled BOHOLOCS.com, and our socials are all at Boho Locs as well. A great place to probably get started is to probably go to our website and maybe sign up for our introductory offer, because then what we'll do is we'll stay in touch with you, we'll give you offers, you get exclusives. So yeah, that's what I would recommend.
Amazing. Thank you so much for talking to us today. I hope you've enjoyed the interview.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right then. Speak to you soon.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.